Hyderabad hate cauldron spills out.
The chants of Sartan Se Juda have drowned out the arrest of T. Raja Singh, BJP MLA. What is the fallout of it? Will those who've been chanting these violent slogans be arrested as well? Will the law take its own course, or will they be allowed to get away? That's the question we're asking here on 5 Live. I'm Shiv Aroor and these are the headlines. Amidst a mega face-off with the TRS, Telangana BJP chief Bandi Sanjay detained by police in Karimnagar, held for alleged murder bid of KCR's daughter Kavita. Political slugfest over Savarkar in Karnataka. Former Chief Minister Yediyurappa kicks off mega Savarkar Rath Yatra in Mysuru. Hails Savarkar as proud son of India. India Today gets you inside track of Liquorgate probe. CBI investigates kickbacks and money trail as trouble mounts for Manish Sisodia. Centre suspends 2 IAS officers named in the case. National Investigation Agency and Intelligence Bureau grill ISIS terrorist Asamov in Russia. ISIS bomber was India-bound to target BJP netas for Nupur's prophet comment. India seeks custody of the terrorist from Moscow. CBI judge hearing cattle smuggling case gets threat letter. Judge threatened with an NDPS case against his family if Trinamool neta Anubrata Mondal is not acquitted of all charges. It's been a day of venomous hate in the beautiful city of Hyderabad. BJP MLA Thakur Raja Singh, after saying vicious things, making a comment about the Prophet, he was first arrested earlier today and then he was suspended by the BJP. An unusually swift action, both by the police in Telangana as well as by the BJP, for what are seen as, by some sections, blasphemous comments against the Prophet and things against religious sentiments. So Raja Singh, a man who is well known for the many inflammatory, hateful comments he has made in the past, has been locked up. He's in the jail right now. But what led up to this arrest? What were the kinds of protests that led up to Raja Singh being locked away as he rightly should have been? Those were Sartan Se Juda protests. Mobs of different people in Hyderabad coming together and chanting Sartan Se Juda, basically calling for the beheading of people like Raja Singh for what they say is blasphemy. Listen in for yourself.
Namaz in front of Commissioner's office. Several shops in Old Hyderabad shut. Massive protest marches and dharnas. The Muslim community in Hyderabad is up in arms over BJP MLA T. Raja Singh's alleged remarks against Prophet Muhammad. Shocking Sartan Se Juda or beheading chants also echoed in the protest.
One particular influencer, digital creator, whatever you want to call it, his name is Syed Abdahu Kashif, was at the forefront of chanting Gustakhe Rasool ki ek hi saza, Sartan Se Juda, Sartan Se Juda. He was on India Today earlier today, has no regrets about it. But Syed, welcome to our coverage. T. Raja Singh, who you wanted arrested, has been arrested. He's been suspended by the BJP. Your reactions, first of all, to that, Syed?
First of all, I like to congratulate the Telangana police and the Hyderabad city police who has done a tremendous job, which Delhi police and the central government has failed to do before in Nupur Sharma's case. And I believe कि जो है, this is what democracy is. This is what should be practiced in the country. This makes the country's ethos more stronger. This
Yeah.
strengthens the country's secularism. So I believe a tremendous good job has been done by the Hyderabad City Police and Telangana DGP.
Syed, are you a Pakistani?
What did you ask?
Are you a Pakistani or are you an Indian?
Why do I have to say that to you?
I'm asking you, are you a Pakistani or are you an Indian?
Hey, who are you to ask me that?
I am a journalist. I'm asking you, are you a Pakistani or an Indian? Because you were chanting Sartan Se Juda. You were chanting. One sec. Hear my question. Hear my question.
You are a journalist.
Hear my question. Hear my question. Hear my question. Syed, hear my question. You chanted Sartan Se Juda outside, right? Do you know where that phrase is from?
No, please tell me.
Do you know where it's from?
No, please.
An
I
extremist
want to learn.
Islamist organization called the Tehreek-e-Labaik Pakistan invented this phrase a few years ago, and it is used to murder people in Pakistan. Are you aware of that? Since you are using that phrase in Hyderabad, because you are clearly an Indian, not a Pakistani.
As I am not from Pakistan, I am not aware
So
of the
why?
things
So
what
why
is
are you
happening in
using a phrase?
Pakistan.
Why are you using a
Looks
phrase
like
invented by an extremist Pakistani radical group?
Sir, when it comes
Are
to
you a
protest,
member
there
of
are
some
many
terror group? Are you a
slogans
member
which
of a
were
terror group
raised,
or an extremist
which
radical
were.
group that you are using their language in India, which is a democracy,
I
not an
don't have.
Islamist republic? Are
I
you a
don't
Pakistani
have.
to take their
I
lines
don't
and
have
use it here?
anything. I don't have anything
Who are you to say someone
to
should
do
be
with
beheaded for their
RSS.
words?
I don't
Who
have
are you should?
anything.
Who
I
are
don't
you to
have
say
anything.
someone should be beheaded? Who are you to say that?
Sir, sir, first of all, the thing is, जो है, what your channel is showing is a small video. It is not the complete thing.
No,
What
no, no,
was
no.
happening,
We've seen
you
the
are
whole
not
thing.
aware of that.
Syed, we've seen the whole thing. Don't make
Sir,
excuses now. Don't make
sir,
excuses now.
sir,
You are
I
on
don't have to
camera.
make any
You
excuses.
are on camera.
I have
You are
said
on
it. I
camera.
said
You
it.
have
I've not said
50,000
anything
Twitter
wrong.
followers. You have 50,000 Twitter followers. You have been retweeting and retweeting your videos say Gustakhe Rasool ki ek hi saza, and your followers are all chanting Sartan se juda, Sartan se juda. Don't try and distance and say ये छोटा video है, एक ही video है. You have been retweeting everything.
Sir,
So
that is not only the tweet. I actually believe कि जो है that thing
So
should happen. I agree with that.
you
I
think that
completely
someone who
agree
says
with that.
something, you think that
No,
you
no,
are
no, no,
basically
not
calling for the
someone who
beheading of
says
another
something.
Indian. You're calling for the beheading of another Indian.
If someone talks shit about if someone talks shit about our prophet, then it won't be tolerated,
Who
whatever
the
it
hell
may
are
be.
you to call for someone to be beheaded, boss? Excuse
Hence,
me.
this is
Who are you
India.
to call
Hence,
for
this
that?
is India.
Who are
This
you
is
to call
India.
for
This
that?
is my country.
Who are you
Here,
to call
law
for
will
that?
take
We
its
have the
course,
police, we have the
and we
judiciary.
know.
Who are you to
Yes,
call for someone to be beheaded?
they will take.
And you're sitting in a
Why?
crowd like a coward. You're not even doing it alone. You're a coward. You're doing it.
I don't
You're
know
not
why
even doing it alone.
so much
Why are you
openly
in
you
a
are
crowd?
coming
Why
in
don't
the
you come out
support of
alone and say
BJP.
it? Excuse me,
I
I
don't
want to ask.
understand why are you coming in support of BJP
I'm not
MLA who's
supporting
not even
BJP or
a
anyone.
BJP MLA
Don't
now,
be a coward.
as I
Syed,
know,
don't be a coward. Take my questions.
as I was
Syed,
informed
don't
that
be a
he is
coward. Don't be a kayar.
not in BJP
Don't be a
anymore.
kayar. Ask my question. Take my question very seriously. I'm asking you, who are you to call for someone's beheading? Are you not a citizen of a democratic republic which has police and judiciary?
I'm a,
Who the hell are you
I'm
to
a,
call for beheading?
I am,
Who the hell are you to call for a beheading? That too with a huge crowd around you. Don't you know
sir,
people have
sir,
been
sir,
beheaded?
sir,
Don't you know people have
yeah.
been beheaded in this country because of this call? Are you not a young Indian or are you a young Pakistani? Who are you to call for beheading in this country?
No. I hope you would have asked the same question to the people who said
We've asked
देश के
everyone the
गद्दारों को
questions.
गोली मारो सालों को.
Unlike we've asked questions to everyone,
जी.
I'm asking you. Tell me something.
I know.
A few days ago, Syed, listen to me. We are both Indians, so let me ask you this question. A few days ago, there were protests. Few weeks
Thank
ago,
you
there
for
were
calling
protests.
me an Indian.
Two
Thank you
people,
very
two
much.
people were
I
beheaded.
was waiting for this.
Yeah,
Thank you very
Syed,
much.
you are a coward.
My life is
Syed, you are a
very
coward.
successful.
You're
You
a
have called
coward.
me an
You're
Indian.
a coward.
You have called me
Nobody
an Indian.
respects you.
You,
Your friends don't respect you. Your followers don't respect you. You are a coward who has said Sartan Se Juda with a huge
I
crowd.
don't want any
Nobody
respect.
cares.
I
Nobody
don't
cares about
know.
your view. Nobody cares
I
about your view
don't,
or your
I
opinion.
don't
You are
want
basically a
anything.
coward.
I don't want anything
Syed, your
to
friends, your
happen.
family are ashamed of you. You are a coward, basically. It doesn't make a difference.
Thank
Don't you dare call for the
thank you very
beheading of
much.
anyone
Thank you
ever
very much.
again.
Thank
Don't
you
you
very
dare
much.
call
Thank
for
you
the
very much
beheading
for
of
telling
anyone
this.
ever
Thank you
again. I
very much
wanted to call you on my
for
show
telling this.
because I wanted people to remember your face. Here's a guy who says he's not a Pakistani. Take a look at that face. He'll try and disconnect now, ladies and
Wow.
gentlemen. This guy will try and run
Wow.
away. Watch him run away now. Watch this guy run away. This
Why
guy,
will I run away? You
no,
are
no,
sending
one
me
sec,
a
Syed.
message.
No.
Please,
I challenge you to stay and take my questions. You have,
I'm taking
do
your
you have any
questions.
sense
I'm
of
taking your
responsibility?
questions. I am
Do you
taking
have
my-
any sense of
I'm taking your
responsibility?
questions.
No, answer my
Up,
question.
up,
Stay with me.
listen,
If you have the
listen,
guts, stay and
whatever
take
it
my
may
questions.
I
Stay and
have,
take my
I have
questions.
enough
Should
guts. That's why I'm standing
now
in,
let me ask you. Now
sitting in
let me
front
ask
of
you a
you.
question. Now let me ask you. Now let me
You
ask
are
you
a
an even deeper
mannerless
question.
journalist.
Let me ask you. Yeah, I
You
don't
are
ask
the
for. Yeah,
part and parcel
I am
of
mannerless because
Godi
I don't ask for
media.
the beheading
You
of
are
people.
part and
Syed,
parcel
wah
of
bhai.
Godi media.
Yeah, I don't ask for the
You are
beheading
the
of people.
champion of
You
the
have great
Godi
manners
media.
because you ask for the
Yes.
beheading of other Indians, and you are calling me mannerless. Now listen to my question, Syed.
Okay,
Listen to my question.
I have not
You
called
are
for any
you
beheading
are the
of
epitome
any
of manners because you want people
in
to be beheaded. Okay, you are the guru of manners because you want people to be beheaded. I am a mannerless idiot. Let's agree on that. Now take my question.
I agree.
I
I
have
agree.
seen
I
some of your
completely
tweets.
agree on that.
No, you are a coward. Forget that. Now listen to my question.
Yes, you are
Listen
a
to my
coward. I
shut up
accept
and
that.
listen to my question. Shut up and listen to my question.
You shut
You
up.
have
You
said,
don't teach me.
you have said,
Teach me when
you
to
have put
speak.
some
You
tweets.
don't teach me when to
You've put
speak.
some tweets. Shut up and listen. You've put some tweets.
You don't have manners.
Your entire loser
You are
brigade
a
is
part
watching
of
you
Godi
right now.
media.
Your
You are
entire
supporting
loser brigade is
BJP.
watching you
are
right now.
supporting Nupur Sharma. You are supporting
Your
BJP. You are
entire
supporting Nupur
brigade is
Sharma.
watching you right now,
Nupur
Syed. Now
Sharma,
listen to me.
everything,
Now listen to me.
everyone will end.
Now listen
Remember
to me.
this.
Nobody cares
Everyone
about your
will be
views.
ending.
Nobody cares about your
Everyone
views.
will
Now listen to
end.
me.
Everyone
Now
will end.
listen. Now
This
listen.
hatred will not be
You
in this
put out a
country for a
tweet.
longer time.
You put out a
will
tweet
go,
saying, I
Modi
will
will
go
go,
on hunger
everyone
strike.
leave.
Tell me
Till
this. Tell me this. Explain this to me.
You can speak
Arey,
till
chup
Modi is
raho
in
yaar.
power.
Listen to me now. Listen to me.
cannot do.
You put out a
You
tweet
cannot
saying,
do
I will go
anything.
on hunger strike. You put out a tweet. Listen to me, Syed. Listen to me.
Yes, I have put
Don't
a
go
tweet,
on and on.
saying that.
Listen
yes, I have put a
to me.
tweet,
Listen to me.
saying
It's okay.
that
Don't
I
be
will go on hunger
triggered.
strike if
Don't be triggered.
Raja
Don't be
Singh
triggered.
is not
Relax.
arrested,
You're an
and hence
influencer.
Raja
You're
Singh is
supposed to be able to take
So
questions. Listen to me.
you may hate me or like me, but
You
you should
wanted to
appreciate
go on
my
a hunger
work.
strike, right?
Thank
You
you.
wanted to go on a hunger strike. You
Thank you.
threatened to
I
go on a
already
hunger
said
strike
that.
if
I
he was
already
not
said about
arrested.
that.
You
I
said
already
you
said
would go.
about that.
You said you would go on a hunger strike if he was not arrested. Why didn't you just stick to that? What was the need for Sartan Se Juda? Going on a hunger strike is totally fair in a democratic country. Why are you using Pakistani slogans like a coward? Why couldn't you just say hunger strike and leave it at that? Why do you need to incite people and talk about Sartan Se Juda, sir?
Why do you have so much love with that country? That
No,
I have nothing to do with that country.
Me?
Why do you call
You
a
are
Muslim
using
and
their
question
phrase and
him?
you're talking
Why
about
do you
my
call
love for
Muslims on your
Pakistan.
show and question him?
What?
Okay, tell me one
Hello.
thing. Tell me one
Tell
thing.
me
Tell me
something.
one
Why
thing.
are you on this show?
Okay,
Because you led a mob.
Okay, one thing.
You are the one who claims to have organized everything.
One question.
You are the one.
I have answered.
You are the one. No. You've not finished answering my questions. I still have many questions. I still have many questions. Asaduddin Owaisi, a person who you've been trying in an embarrassing way to be close to for many years, who completely rejects you publicly. Asaduddin Owaisi has said those who say Sartan Se Juda should be punished. A person who you have tried to be close to for so many years has completely condemned the use of Sartan Se Juda. How would you respond to that, dear Syed?
I will not respond to that. Whatever he says is right. Whatever he says.
So are you apologizing for saying it then? Are you apologizing?
No, I will not apologize. What I have done is very less. I think it should be more.
No, but you're saying Owaisi is right, but you won't apologize.
Yes, he's right, but I won't apologize.
But why
He is
won't you
right.
apologize? You should apologize. You should
My teacher.
apologize.
He is my
You're not a
guru.
Pakistani.
He
Owaisi
is
is your
having a
guru.
different place. Don't.
You're not a
don't,
Pakistani.
don't,
You're an Indian.
Don't.
You're not a Pakistani. You're an Indian. You and I are both Indians.
Did you
Why
call
can't
him?
you say what I did was wrong?
Why?
What I
why
did
do
was
you
wrong.
start
I will
from this-
apologize.
Why
I'll
are
tell
you
you
so much
why.
attached to this
I'll
word,
tell you why. I'll tell you why.
Pakistani?
I'll explain to you. I'll explain to you.
Okay.
Let me explain it to you nicely.
I will.
One last comment, then I'll take your question. One last comment.
One question.
I want to simply ask you one thing.
Why do you support? Why are you supporting Raja Singh's statement?
Nobody is
supporting? Are you supporting individually?
Nobody is
India
supporting.
Today,
Hear me out. I condemn what Raja Singh has said. I condemn what Raja Singh has said. It was about time that he was arrested for his hateful comments. Now will you take my comments? I am not a coward like you, bhai. Unlike you, I'm not a coward. I am happy that he has been arrested. It's a good thing he's been arrested. Now take my question. You have 50,000 followers on Twitter. You have 50,000 followers on Twitter. You are an influencer and he's run away. Syed Abdahu Kashif is an influencer, 50,000 followers, claims to be, very close to the powers that be in Telangana. And that's the kind of person who was leading the protest and chanting Sartan Se Juda. Not just some random person. It's a person with a big following, a person who clearly can gather a huge crowd. If you look at his social media, he clearly kowtows with the bigwigs of, politics and, civil life in Hyderabad. And he's a person who's been saying Sartan Se Juda in Hyderabad. Will he go unpunished? He didn't even know where the phrase was actually from. When I tweeted about his comment today, he's retweeted it. He's proud. He's remorseless about the things he's actually said. And even here on 5 Live, he said, I will not apologize for it. That's how normalized this phrase has become. Take a look at what happened today.
Namaz in front of Commissioner's office. Several shops in Old Hyderabad shut. Massive protest marches and dharnas. The Muslim community in Hyderabad is up in arms over BJP MLA T. Raja Singh's alleged remarks against Prophet Muhammad. Shocking Sartan Se Juda or beheading chants also echoed in the protest. Raja Singh had made the communal remark while attacking stand-up comedian Munawwar Farooqi, who recently held a show in Hyderabad despite BJP's opposition. Hyderabad police arrested him on Tuesday morning for creating communal disharmony. The BJP has suspended Raja Singh from the party. Singh claimed that since Farooqi had made fun of Hindu gods in the past, he had no other choice.
ऐसे व्यक्ति का प्रोग्राम होगा, जहां प्रोग्राम होगा उस सेट को जला दिया जाएगा। हमें कल से अरेस्ट करके रखा गया है। अगर दम है तो हमें छोड़ के बताएं। हमारी ताकत क्या है, हम क्या कर सकते हैं। मुनव्वर फारूकी यहां से सही सलामत नहीं जाएगा। मैं चैलेंज करता हूं केटीआर को, हमें छोड़ के बताएं। जिसने हमारे रामचंद्र जी को गाली दिया, जिसने सीता मैया के ऊपर कमेंट किया, ऐसा व्यक्ति तेलंगाना से अगर सीधा चले जाए तो मेरा नाम बदल देना। अगर दम है तो ये पुलिस फोर्स हटा के बताओ।
Enraged by Raja Singh's remark, several complaints and FIRs were filed against him by Muslim politicians and activists. Congress corporator Rashid Khan threatened to burn down Raja Singh's constituency, Gosha Mahal, if no action was taken.
23 अगस्त के दिन राजा सिंह को हिरासत में नहीं लेंगे। 24 के दिन राशिद खान गोशा महल में दाखिल हो जाएगा। फिर लॉ एंड ऑर्डर को तोड़ने के लिए मैं तैयार हूं और मैं तैयार रहूंगा वो दिन भी। राजा सिंह हर वक्त हमारे हुजूर सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम की शान में गुस्ताखी करते आया हुआ है। मेरा मुतालिबा है शहर का अमन और सुकून गारत कर दूंगा अगर से मैं राजा सिंह को हिरासत में ले लेंगे तो।
The protest against Raja Singh saw MIM corporator Zafar Khan raising beheading slogans right in front of the police. The police are yet to act against Zafar Khan. A Muslim social media influencer also went on to recite the Sartan Se Juda chant, saying Hyderabad belongs to them.
Raja Singh said is it okay to raise slogans like Sartan Se Juda, beheading threats?
Madam, when we talk about Shariat, then in Shariat laws, for the person who use such language for Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the only thing what can be done with him is Sartan Se Juda.
What will happen in your own city then?
आप हैदराबाद की हद तक जो है ना बेफिक्र रहिए. It's a very peaceful city and people like Raja Singh, they who deserve it, like the person who insults our prophet, then that is the very right thing said to the very cheap person.
With Abdul Bashir in Hyderabad, Bureau Report, India Today.
And there are massive protests outside the Nampalli court in Telangana, where Thakur Raja Singh, the BJP MLA, has just been brought. But these protests are pro-Raja protests. Slogans in favor of the BJP MLA are being raised outside the court. You know, after Sartan Se Juda protests that have taken place overnight and early this morning in Hyderabad, T. Raja Singh was arrested by the Hyderabad police. He's been suspended by the BJP, and now there are pro-Raja protests taking place outside the court where he has just been produced. He's been booked by the police under at least 3 sections of the Indian Penal Code, including hurting religious sentiments, spreading enmity and things like that. And now there are pro-Raja slogans being raised outside the court where he is. This is in some ways a resonance of the backlash that the BJP is receiving on social media and the internet from supporters who believe that the suspension of T. Raja Singh was not necessary. Apurva Jayachandran joins me live from Hyderabad. Apurva, T. Raja with the police right now, being produced in court, pro-Raja slogans apparently being raised.
Well, that's right. On one side, you have BJP.
Okay, we've lost that line with Apurva. We'll just get back to that. I just want to put the sound up on some of those pictures and let our viewers listen into what's happening. First images coming in of T. Raja produced in court.
Okay, done. वो वर्गम प्रजन मनो
Okay, so these are pictures from outside the Nampalli court where T. Raja has just been produced. Jai Shri Ram slogans by BJP supporters and supporters of T. Raja Singh erupting there as he is produced in court. He's in a lot of trouble. He's been arrested under 3 different sections for spreading communal enmity. He's also been suspended and show-caused by his own party. Raja Singh Murdabad protests alongside Jai Shri Ram protests taking place outside the court. So there are supporters of T. Raja Singh as well as members from opposition. Those who oppose the BJP are also there raising Murdabad slogans against T. Raja Singh. So deeply polarized environment, getting even more polarized over the figure of T. Raja Singh, a man who's well known for his hateful comments. He has said many incendiary things in the past as well, but this is the maximum trouble that he has gotten into. This time, not just being arrested, but also being suspended by his party. Listen into some of these slogans.
Okay, done.
Apurva is live with us. Apurva, what's happening outside the court? Chaos, huge crowds there. We'll get to Apurva in just a moment. We're going to get our other reporters in on this developing situation. Pictures, that's T. Raja Singh in red. You can see box there on the left-hand side of your screen as he was taken out of his house and then taken to court. And the slogans, the protests and the dharna against and for Raja Singh continuing to intensify right outside that court complex where he is being produced as we speak. Now, the man who was being produced in those pictures, BJP MLA T. Raja Singh's remarks against the Prophet and those beheading chants that were raised in retaliatory protests leading to his arrest, have triggered a huge political face-off, as you can imagine, in Telangana. The BJP is accusing the ruling TRS of political vendetta. The party has said that the arrest of the MLA is because KCR and his family are scared of losing in upcoming local polls. AIMIM chief Asaduddin Owaisi has also hit out at the BJP, accusing the party of stoking communal fires in Telangana. Owaisi has said that the BJP hates Muslims and the Prophet. He's also asked why Nupur Sharma is still not in jail. However, Owaisi did condemn the Sartan Se Juda slogans that were part of these protests.
I am telling you that this has now become an official policy of the Bharatiya Janata Party to emotionally and psychologically hurt the Muslims of our country. This is the official policy. You unfortunately thought that Nupur Sharma was just on your channel. She said, no, this is an official policy of Bharatiya Janata Party to keep on stating and hurting and using such derogatory language against Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. I want to know from my Prime Minister, does he agrees with what his MLA has said? Will the Prime Minister condemn what his party MLA has said? Will the BJP react to it? This is a clear attempt by Bharatiya Janata Party to disturb the peaceful atmosphere of Telangana and to ensure that a communal riot takes place in Hyderabad. Completely condemn such slogans. No one has the right to take law in their hands. We have given a complaint, a timely action has been taken. No one should use these slogans. You cannot take law into your hands. क्या नुपुर शर्मा जेल में है? नहीं है ना? क्या नुपुर शर्मा को अरेस्ट करके जेल ने क्या एक्शन लिए? वो उसको एक्शन बोलते हैं आप? 6 साल बरी कर दिए सर पार्टी से। 6 साल के लिए, मगर उसके बाद क्या कर रहे हैं? अभी भी आप पुलिस प्रोटेक्शन देकर रखे हैं उनको। क्या आप उनको अरेस्ट किया? आपने अरेस्ट किया उनको? प्रधानमंत्री के बारे में कोई अनाप शनाप बक दे तो जेल जाना पड़ेगा।
పాదయాత్రకు నేతృత్వం వహిస్తున్నటువంటి బీజేపీ రాష్ట్ర అధ్యక్షులు బండి సంజయ్ గారిని అరెస్ట్ చేయడం నేను తీవ్రంగా ఖండిస్తా ఉన్నాను. ఈ యొక్క రాష్ట్రంలో అధికారంలో ఉన్నటువంటి టీఆర్ఎస్ పార్టీ, కేసీఆర్ కుటుంబము ఒక అభద్రతా భావంతో ఉన్నారు. వాళ్ళకు అధికారం చేజారిపోతుందేమో, మా కుటుంబం నుంచి మా కొడుకు ముఖ్యమంత్రి కాడేమో అనేటువంటి ఒక నిరాశ నిస్పృహలతో ఈరోజు పూర్తిగా విష ప్రచారం చేయడము.
Now here on India Today, we call a spade, and we do not hesitate to take a stand in national interest. T. T. Raja Singh's past controversies make it clear that this was a man who has always indulged in hateful speech, hate speech, communally charged, inflammatory speech. In June 2022, controversial comments on the Ajmer Sharif were made by this man. A case was registered for his speech in Rajasthan. In February this year, he made vote for BJP or face bulldozer action threat. Show cause notice was served by the Election Commission against him. In September 2020, he was banned from Facebook for hate speech and anti-minority rhetoric. In 2018, controversial comments against Rohingyas and Bangladeshi immigrants, many of the things that he said can't even be put on television because they are so dangerous. He said, shoot them dead if they don't leave India peacefully. In May 2017, he was booked for calling Hyderabad a mini Pakistan. So this is part and parcel of what T. Raja Singh has done. He's been arrested now, many would say belatedly. He's been suspended by the party. There is a backlash separately by one section against the BJP. But make no mistake, T. Raja Singh has been a communal hate speech or a hate monger who probably had it coming. That is definitely one of the views if you look at his past record. Now the comments, okay. We're going back to these live pictures outside the court in Nampally, Hyderabad, where there is a lathi charge taking place. There's been a bit of an escalation, a bit of tension, a little hustle bustle as the crowds continue to swell in that area as T. Raja Singh is produced in court. These are live pictures coming in from there. We're going to do our best to get a reporter live so we can talk through these pictures and be able to decode precisely what is taking place. We understand that this is right outside the court. There are both pro as well as anti-T. Raja Singh slogans being raised by protesters there. There are some members of T. Raja's support group and the BJP as well. And there are, of course, those who've been calling for his arrest since last night. We don't know if there are any Sartan se Juda slogans being chanted here, hopefully not. But the message has gone out very, very clearly. T. Raja Singh has run out of rope. He's been arrested. He's been suspended by his party as well. And he is in serious trouble, not just with the police, but also with his party at this point of time. Yes, there are supporters of T. Raja Singh also in these crowds, and there are those raising the Raja Singh Murdabad slogans as well. So there are both pro and anti slogans. Abdul Bashir is live with me. Abdul, can you talk us through these pictures? What's happening? Has T. Raja Singh already been produced in court?
See, right now we are at the Nampally court in Hyderabad here, where Raja Singh has been brought to appear before the district magistrate here. And here on my left side, you can see that a group of people, the supporters of Raja Singh, had gathered here, assembled here. There was a clash a few while ago where both the side protesters, one from the supporters of Raja Singh and the other against the derogatory remarks made by Raja Singh, had gathered here. There was a minor clash where lathi charge had been done by the police, and then the supporters had been dispersed into these lanes here. As you can see that how the protesters are sitting on the other side of the road, and heavy police deployment here. All the task force and the pickets have been on ground here. Task force police have been brought to the ground. Law and order police is here, and they are making sure that no untoward situation takes place close to this court here. So all around me are the protesters. Here you can see the supporters of Raja Singh who are waiting here for the hearing that is going on, whether whether he will be remanded to judicial custody. So all these the area surrounding Nampally court is completely filled with protesters who have come in support and also against Raja Singh. After this heavy outrage that has been seen, and now he has been arrested and brought to the court following the derogatory remarks he had made yesterday. So on my other side, you can see all the protesters here who are in support of Raja Singh. However, police have dispersed them in the lanes here. Few are in this lane and few in the others. They have been dispersed after a lathi charge was done by the police officials at the spot here. Right behind me is the Nampally court where the hearing is still going on, where the Raja Singh has been appeared before the judge after this case after giving derogatory statements against the Prophet Muhammad. So heavy police deployment can be seen here. Police with lathis here are trying to make sure that no any untoward incident doesn't take place in this near the Nampally court here. So on the other side, see, as you can see, the task force police is on ground. Pickets have been stationed here in this the lanes in and around the Nampally court, the criminal court where Raja Singh has been brought amid high security. All behind me are the vehicles in which Raja Singh was brought from Bolaram police station to the Nampally court here. Heavy deployment can be seen. Outrage from both the sides of the groups. One supporting Raja Singh and the other is against Raja Singh. The remarks that have been made by Raja Singh yesterday are condemned by the Muslim groups who have gathered here in this area. And the other side, you can see that protesters in support with Raja Singh have gathered. Now police have, however, taken the control of the situation here, and now you can see how the police has been deployed here. We are right in front of the Metropolitan Criminal Court here at Nampally area where Raja Singh has been brought. See how you can see how the police have been made, the heavy bandobast has been made pertaining to the hearing that is going on in the Raja Singh case after he had made derogatory remarks. So here, heavy deployment of police can be seen at the gates in and around the Nampally court to avoid any kind of protest or untoward incident here near the court premises. Over to you.
Abdul, are there expected to be protests in other parts of the city? We saw what happened last night as well, but could there be protests because of the sensitivity of the case? Could there be protests in different parts of the city, and will there be police deployment? The people of Hyderabad would probably be wanting to know that as well. Abdul, can you hear me?
Hello?
Can you hear me, Abdul?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Can you please come again?
Yeah, I was saying, are there expected to be protests in other parts of the city as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Looking at the outrage here, it is mostly expected that the protest will take place in other parts of the city as well. People have started gathering. However, the police had immediately arrested Raja Singh at 10 a.m. today following heavy protest, heavy outrage that had taken place in several parts of the city. Right in front of the police commissioner's office, there was a huge protest where thousands of people have gathered demanding the arrest of Raja Singh. And now that he has brought to the Nampally court here, people are just waiting to what will be done here, whether he will be remanded to judicial custody or will he be granted bail in this case where he had made a derogatory statement against a particular community. Now the situation seems to be tensed as they are ready to take at any moment Raja Singh may move out, and any moment there will be a decision on whether Raja Singh will be granted bail or not. So here you can see that protesters have gathered in huge numbers. Police is deployed and they are trying to make sure that no untoward incident take place in this area. So this is we are right near Nampally court of Hyderabad, this Nampally criminal court of Hyderabad, where heavy police have been deployed. Now it is to be seen whether the outcome of this case, whether he will be remanded or will he be set free with the bail, will be seen now following this outrage. So here we can see how the police are making sure that no untoward incident take place in this area. And this is the situation right now that we are seeing in near Nampally court. Over to you.
Abdul, have political leaders and community leaders, have they called for calm? T. Raja Singh made very hateful comments. He's been arrested now. He's been suspended by the BJP. Will things be calmer, hopefully? Are the community leaders asking for calm?
See, as far as the community leaders are concerned, like we have seen that AIMIM chief Assaduddin Owaisi has stated that from the night 12:30 a.m. Till morning, the leaders, the MLAs and the cleric leaders have been making people to understand that justice will prevail, justice will be done to the incident that has occurred, and somehow they had managed to move away the crowd and control the protest that was going on since yesterday. So now, after they have given a clear assurance that the justice will prevail, the protesters have seemed to calm down. And however, today morning by nearly around 10 a.m., Raja Singh was arrested by the police, and then the protests have calmed down. But now, when Raja Singh had been brought to this Nampally court, heavy protest had been seen here. Police had to lathi charge to control the situation on ground here. Heavy deployment of police can be seen on ground here to avoid any kind of untoward incident. Now, when we come across the Muslim clerics and the Muslim scholars who have been asking people to keep calm and wait for the justice that will be granted. However, the BJP leaders have said that they are not going to make any remarks against the statement made by Raja Singh. But however, the party has suspended him and asked for an explanation within 10 days of time. He has to explain as to why the party must not take any strict action against him. Over to you.
Abdul, thanks very much. Stay safe. We'll keep continuing to cover this. We, of course, as a channel also are appealing to all sides for calm. It's a sensitive time. There are many who will try to mislead people and inflame passions, but we are all Indians. We mustn't let anyone else take advantage, of those sentiments. So we, as a channel as well, I personally am appealing to everyone for calm at this point of time. We will keep covering this story very, very closely. And finally, Gustakh-e-Rasool ki ek hi saza, sartan se juda, sartan se juda. Well, Raja Singh hasn't been beheaded, but the BJP Telangana MLA has absolutely rightly been arrested for his vicious comments. He's been suspended by the BJP as well. Well, this isn't the first time he has said inflammatory things, so nobody should be surprised that in an already communally surcharged atmosphere, he has been locked up so quickly. But why is there no such swiftness in action against the mobs that screamed Sartan Se Juda in Hyderabad? Local MP Owaisi has condemned the phrase, but let's not kid ourselves. Sartan Se Juda has been made totally acceptable in this country's daily discourse over the last few months. All those who played cheerleader to the backlash against Nupur Sharma's prophet comment, claiming they were an attack on religious feelings, this is on you. All those who normalize the idea of blasphemy, which is not there in Indian law, fanning it into a furious fire both online and offline, this is of course on you. All those who endorsed the nationwide street protests and vandalism with the chant of Sartan Se Juda, conveniently blurring the line between disturbing extremism with pent-up minority grievances, this is on you. All those who clapped and cheered as the Supreme Court blamed Nupur Sharma for the Sartan Se Juda of Kanhaiya Lal in Udaipur, this is of course on you. All those who applauded as the world's top human rights abuser nations united to preach sermons over this perceived blasphemy, this is on you. All those who stayed silent while we told you the story of young Saad Ansari and others who dared to speak not against Nupur Sharma, this is on you. All those who wholly supported the notion of blasphemy and still do so, and thereby alienated and pushed away the country's moderates, this is on you. All those who've made excuses for the backlash, those who've shamefully set aside their own views on whether or not blasphemy should be a thing because it suits your political views, this is on you. Your hypocritical cheerleading has ensured that the idea is not so unthinkable that Nupur Sharma or anyone else must pay with their head for what they say. So don't pretend to be surprised today that an ISIS terrorist captured in Russia says he was purportedly on his way to India to take revenge for the prophet comment. Because now Sartan Se Juda isn't shocking anymore. Because that's what you've made possible. Keeping a very close eye on that unfolding story, but coming up on the other side of this very short break, political slugfest over Savarkar escalates in Karnataka. Former Chief Minister Yediyurappa is rising on the wrath of Savarkar. He's become the big daddy of Karnataka politics, it seems. That's next.
Kinmen Island. This is Taiwan's most threatened outpost, just 10 kilometers away from mainland China. If China made the Great Wall, Taiwan made a series of such tunnels right from 1949 onwards. Join me, Gaurav Sawant, as I report live and exclusive from Ground Zero, Taiwan, only on India Today.
Vinayak Damodar Savarkar, or Veer Savarkar, has taken centre stage in Karnataka. Today, former Chief Minister and the man in charge of the BJP's poll campaign in the state, B.S. Yediyurappa, flagged off a Savarkar Rath Yatra from Mysuru. Yediyurappa has hailed Savarkar as a proud son of India, putting a stamp formally on what the BJP now considers one of its biggest weapons going into this election. Savarkar. Take a look.
Showdown over Vinayak Damodar Savarkar escalating in Karnataka. From Bengaluru, Shiv Aroor, Kodagu to Tumkur, and now Mysuru. BJP heavyweight B.S. Yedurappa flagged off a mega campaign on the Hindutva icon, lauding him as a proud son of Bharat Mata, loved and adored by all parties in the past, including Indira Gandhi.
ದೇಶದ ಮೊದಲ ಮಹಿಳಾ ಪ್ರಧಾನಿ ಇಂದಿರಾ ಗಾಂಧಿ ಅವರಿಂದ ವೀರ ಎಂದು ಕರೆಸಿಕೊಂಡ ಮಹಾನ್ ನಾಯಕ ವೀರ ಸಾವರ್ಕರ್ ವಿರುದ್ಧ ರಾಜಕೀಯ ಪಕ್ಷಗಳ ನಾಯಕರಿಂದ ಮನಪೂರ್ತಿಯಾಗಿ ಕೊಂಡಾಡಲ್ಪಟ್ಟ ವೀರ ಸಾವರ್ಕರ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಭಾರತ ಮಾತೆಯ ಹೆಮ್ಮೆಯ ಕೂರ. ಅವರ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಮಾತು ನಮ್ಮ ಪಾಲಿಗೆ ದಾರಿದೀಪ. ಈ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಒಂದಿಷ್ಟು ಐತಿಹಾಸಿಕ ಸತ್ಯಗಳನ್ನು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮುಂದಿರ್ತೇನೆ. ದೇಶಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ತನ್ನ ಪದವಿಯನ್ನೇ ತಿರಸ್ಕರಿಸಿದ ದೇಶದ ಮೊದಲ ಪದವೀಧರ ವೀರ ಸಾವರ್ಕರ್.
So in view of all this, the Savarkar Rath Yatra, which is being organized and legitimized by the BJP, has been kicked off. This is the automobile, the Rath, where Savarkar's achievements is being showcased to the people. Books are also being sold. This is the digital monitor where Savarkar's achievements is being displayed. All his achievements, videos, everything will be showed to people, which will be taken throughout the city, and people will be educated about this. Now inaugurating this Rath Yatra, B.S. Yedurappa said that this is significant in light of everything that's happening in the state.
The Congress, which has responded to BJP's Savarkar salvo by eulogizing Tipu Sultan, was more measured this time, obliquely taking a jibe at the saffron ideologue.
ಸ್ವತಂತ್ರ ಹೋರಾಟ ಮಾಡಿದಾರೆ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಲ್ಲ, ಇದು ಐತಿಹಾಸಿಕ ಸತ್ಯ, ಹಿಸ್ಟಾರಿಕಲ್ ಟ್ರೂತ್. ಅಷ್ಟೇನೆ ಸಾವರ್ಕರ್ ಅವರು ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷರಿಗೆ ತಪ್ಪೊಪ್ಪಿಗೆ ಬರೆದು ಕೂಡ ಐತಿಹಾಸಿಕ ಸತ್ಯ. ಅವರು ಸ್ವಾತಂತ್ರ್ಯ ಹೋರಾಟದಲ್ಲಿ ಪಾಲ್ಗೊಂಡು ಜೈಲಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಿದ್ರು, ತಪ್ಪೊಪ್ಪಿಗೆ ಬರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಅಂತದ್ದು ಕೂಡ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಸತ್ಯ.
Savarkar frenzy meanwhile spread to Ganesh Utsav celebrations, with Saffron Group, Hindu Mahasabha, Seva Samiti used Savarkar posters in Ganesh Chaturthi to flex hoardings in Devanagari. Fringe groups also made an open call to violence. Sri Ram Sena chief Pramod Muthalik threatened to chop off hands of Congress workers and Muslims who dare to remove Savarkar posters.
ಸಾವರ್ಕರ್ ಮುಸ್ಲಿಮರಿಗೋಸ್ಕರ, ಮುಸ್ಲಿಂ ವಿರೋಧಿ ಅಥವಾ ಮುಸ್ಲಿಮರಿಗೋಸ್ಕರ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷರ ವಿರುದ್ಧ ಹೋರಾಟ ಮಾಡಿದಂತ ಅಪ್ರತಿಮ ಕ್ರಾಂತಿಕಾರಿ. ಸೊ ಅವಾಗ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಇದ್ರು. ಮುಸ್ಲಿಮರೇನಾದ್ರು ಅಥವಾ ಕಾಂಗ್ರೆಸ್ನವ್ರು ಏನಾದ್ರು ನಾವು ಹಾಕಿದಂತ ಭಾವಚಿತ್ರ, ಈ ಬ್ಯಾನರ್ ಏನಾದರೂ ಮುಟ್ಟಿದ್ರೆ ಕೈ ಕತ್ತರಿಸಿ ಬಿಸಾಕ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ನುವಂತಹದ್ದು ನಾನು ಎಚ್ಚರಿಕೆಯನ್ನು ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ.
This comes days after Savarkar posters were put up by BJP workers at Congress office in Vijaypura, prompting Congress to threaten retaliation using Tipu Sultan posters at BJP office. With Priyanka Rudrappa in Mysuru, Bureau Report, India Today.
And this whole Savarkar issue is just escalating with each passing hour. Here's the latest that's coming in. A BJP corporator has put up a Savarkar picture in his office as an official picture in his office. Some would say, what's the big deal? Why not? He's a freedom fighter. Why can't his picture be up there? Others will say, well, this is very much part of the BJP's strategy to put the spotlight and focus on Veer Savarkar as opposed to other icons from India's freedom struggle. So this expected viewer to become more and more intense as it goes ahead. H.D. Kumaraswamy, former Chief Minister, has spoken to India Today on this as well. Listen in.
Pro-Hindu activists are threatening that they will chop the hands of the people if they try to remove the photographs of Savarkar, especially Pramod Muthalik.
Of that kind of their reaction, what they are giving, ultimately the Karnataka people will going to be decide to whom to the chop. I am not telling about chopping the hands or cut or our head. My intention, my intuition Karnataka's will not support that kind of violence. This state is Sarva Janangada Shantiya Tota. Our people will going to maintain that Sarva Janangada Shantiya Tota.
And I'm leaving you with a picture from TikTok that is banned, remember, in India, but it's been going viral everywhere else on the internet since the last couple of days. A crossover you never thought you needed. Children's favorite, Peppa Pig, dancing to the tunes of Kala Chashma. The clip has garnered over 150,000 views on some accounts. People were amused to see this dance video, lauding the group for executing the dance steps to the T. Enjoy. See you on the other side.
This testing shows us that there is a vast potential in the commercial use of drones, especially in urban area. And this is a further step of creating an economically viable model.
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your